Okay, good morning. Welcome to the November 24th meeting of the Delaware County Council. And I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. If everybody would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And Mark, you want to start us?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, can I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Ballard?
Here.
Ms. Lassiter?
Here.
Ms. Piper?
Here.
Mr. Alexander?
Here.
Mr. Hughes?
Here.
Okay. Again, questions from the public can be directed towards the county council email address. It's countycouncildist@co.delaware.in.us. Again, that's countycouncildist@co.delaware.in.us. Denise, was the agenda posted and advertised?
Yes.
Thank you. And I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion from Jessica, a second from Ryan. Before we vote on that, just I guess a point of order for you guys. We've got 4 council people present here today, and we will all need to 4 vote yes to pass anything on that. So I just want to make sure you guys understand that when we go into the voting on this for today. Is that clear? Okay, all right. Okay, with that, I need a roll call, please, on the agenda.
Ms. Lassiter?
Yes.
Ms. Piper?
Yes.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes? Mr. Alexander? I thought
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
And that's approved, unanimous. There, we got through one. We need an approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion from Jessica, second from Ryan. Any discussion, changes, corrections? Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Piper?
Yes.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes? No, I don't know. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Okay.
You with us? Okay, we're ready for the financial and transfer agenda. As you guys noticed, Donna's not here. Steve's going to read those in for us today. And we'll start with the transfer.
Okay, the first one, Circuit Court, it's been withdrawn. We'll move down to Circuit Court. The second one, 124 Probation Officer, 17302. Probation Officer, $23. B130 Court Reporter, $519.31 minus. Chief Probation Officer, 148 minus 17302. 149 Adult Supervisor minus 17302. Juvenile Supervisor, line 150 plus 17302. 161 Probation Officer plus 519.31. D189 Probation Officer minus 23. Part-time minus 23, total is 0.
Move to approve.
Second, but I do want to ask a question real quick.
Okay,
Can you tell me the
hang on a minute. I got a motion from Jessica, a second from Ryan. Discussion, go ahead, Ryan.
148 chief probation stipend? Is that negative 519?
It's minus 519.31.
And then the D189 probation officer is 519.31 as well, correct? Okay.
plus
In
519.31.
and out.
Okay. That's all I had.
Okay, any other questions? Roll call, please.
Ms. Lassiter?
Yes.
Ms. Piper?
Yes.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Emergency medical service, 121 advanced EMT minus $1,000. 138 advanced EMT plus $1,000, total zero.
Move to approve?
Second.
Got a motion from Jessica, second from Ryan. Any discussion on that? Roll call, please.
Ms. Piper?
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter?
Yes.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Prosecutor, 137. A109 investigator plus $1,250. 311 legal services minus $1,250, total zero.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion from Jessica, second from Ryan. Any discussion on that? Roll call, please.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter?
Yes.
Ms. Piper?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Public Defender's Office, B162 minus $241.35. C162 plus $241.35. D179 minus $2,500. E179 plus $2,500, total zero.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion from Jessica, second from Ryan. Any discussion on that? That's just moving from a B to a C and a D to an E line. Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Piper?
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter?
Yes.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Galcasa grant, 392 instructional costs minus $1,275. 393 educational meetings minus $1,275. 441 office equipment plus $2,550. Total request zero.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion from Jessica, second from Ryan. Any discussion on that? Roll call, please.
Ms. Lassiter?
Yes.
Ms. Piper?
Yes.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Hume Bridge, 1135, A116 equipment operator, minus $8,000. 171 FICA, plus $8,000, total request zero.
Move to approve?
Second.
Got a motion from Jessica, second from Ryan. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Ms. Chambers? Oh, shoot, Ms. Lassiter? Sorry, Mary.
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter? Ms. Piper?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
DOC grant 1122, 107 case manager plus $494.99. 109 field officer plus $510.16. 120 case manager plus $13,729.33. 131 case manager plus $6,626.03. 133 case manager plus $3,807.64. 138 teacher plus $4,130. 172 perf plus $15,049.99. 197 part-time plus $9,212.16. 396 drug screens plus $660.40. 101 executive director plus $2,403.85. 102 home detention plus $701.58. 116 case manager plus $684.80. A120 forensic court supervisor plus $758. A127 field officer plus $2.21. A128 forensic court case manager plus $6,490.14. A141 administrative assistant plus $428.99. A143 jail diversion coordinator plus $2,467.15. A144 surveillance supervisor plus $1,063.54. C118 home detention case manager plus $8,443.15. 103 assistant director minus $7,000. CR26 case manager minus $45,000. A121 field officer minus $15,132. 172 perf minus $2,637.88. 197 part-time minus $7,894.23. Total request 0.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion from Jessica, second from Ryan. Thanks, Steve, for reading all those in. You're gonna be tired after this. You want to explain that just real quick? These are grant monies for community corrections.
Yeah, it's last year's grant, that was 18 months worth, and it's something that we have to pay back any unused funds back to the DOC every year. So,
Any other questions from council on that?
I like your mask.
thank you.
Go Irish.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Piper?
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter?
Yes.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Enhanced 911, 173 insurance minus $70, 177 long-term disability plus $70, total request 0.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion from Jessica, second from Ryan. Any discussion on that? Roll call, please.
Ms. Piper?
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter?
Yes.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Prosecutor led 1170. A105 victim advocate minus 189. 118 investigator plus $189. B102 deputy prosecutor minus $4,829.81. C102 deputy prosecutor plus $4,829.81. Total request 0.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion from Jessica, second from Ryan. Any discussion on that? This was, Rhonda talked to us on the phone at Finance Committee. They've had exposure in their office there, and they're gone this week. If we need her, I think she's available on,
Waiting on us to call.
she's waiting on a call. So if you guys are okay with this, we'll go ahead. Everybody okay? All right. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter?
Yes.
Ms. Piper?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Sales Disclosure Fund 1131, 393 schooling minus $551.81. 441 copier plus $551.81. Total request 0.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion from Jessica, second from Ryan. This is, we talked about this in finance. This is a portion of,
Yeah, this is the transfer portion of it, then there'll be, the rest of it will be coming out of another fund here in the next appropriation agenda. Two-part.
Did you get the old one disposed of?
I did not. So if anybody needs a copy, or I have one, we run many copies due to the type of work we do, so, a couple of squeaks here and there, it's like a $200,000 or a 200,000 mile automobile. So if you want one that works, you might want to drive it to Florida, but it'll work for you for a while.
that's for use.
That's a great
yeah,
analogy.
That's for use by the county, right? You're not
Yes.
just giving that to anybody. All right, okay, thanks. All right, any other questions? Roll call, please.
Ms. Lassiter?
Yes.
Ms. Piper?
Yes.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Delaware County Office of Information, GIS, 313 contractual services minus $1,500. 362 software maintenance minus $3,800. 441 equipment plus $5,300. Total request zero.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion from Jessica, second from Ryan. You guys want to talk about that? Anybody want to hear about that? Go ahead.
I'm just cleaning up my year-end budget, moving some funds into our equipment for some vehicle safety equipment that I need. That's it.
You were able to renegotiate your software
Correct. So yeah,
maintenance.
the software maintenance, we dropped maintenance on some software that we're no longer utilizing, so that saved us some funds. So I was able to transfer.
Any questions from council? Roll call, please.
Ms. Lassiter?
Yes.
Ms. Piper?
Yes.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Ineligible standard deduction, 310 contractual services minus $7,200. 441 equipment plus $7,200. Total request zero.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion from Jessica, second from Ryan. Any questions on that? You want to say anything on that, Steve?
Well, we purchased 3 laptops for able to work from home, and then we've had to replace a copy machine.
And that you're going to try and get those reimbursed?
We've already submitted it.
Already have? Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Ms. Piper?
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter?
Yes.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Addendum, 198 part-time for commissioners minus 25,000. 173 health insurance minus 25,000 to part-times plus 25,000. Total request zero.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion from Jessica, second from Ryan. This is just moving, we talked about this in the finance committee. This is moving from health insurance to cover part-time through the rest of the year. This gets you through the rest of the year? Okay. Roll call, please.
Ms. Lassiter?
Yes.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Ms. Piper?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Communications, 124. F-121 Communications Tech minus $5,001.36. G-121 Communication Tech plus $5,001.36. 198 part-time minus $500. OIC plus $500. C-126 Communication Tech minus $5,557.01. D-126 plus $5,557.01. Total request zero.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion from Jessica, second from Ryan. Any questions on that? Roll call, please.
Ms. Lassiter?
Yes.
Ms. Piper?
Yes.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Emergency medical service, 155. 121 advanced EMT, minus $461.52. 192 education incentive pay, plus $461.52. Total request zero.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion from Jessica, second from Ryan. Any questions on that? This is the transfer that takes this off. If the transfer is approved, then it takes it off of the financial agenda. We'd ask them to go back and find money in their line item, and they did. Roll call, please.
Ms. Lassiter?
Yes.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Ms. Piper?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Jail 145, B155 correctional officer minus $4,839.20. C155 correctional officer plus $4,839.20. Total request zero.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion from Jessica, second from Ryan. Any discussion on that? This is replacing in the jail. Okay, Roll call, please.
Ms. Piper?
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter?
Yes.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Sheriff 129, 223 vehicle maintenance minus $20,000. 441 equipment plus $20,000, total request 0.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion from Jessica, second from Ryan. Is there anything you guys want to talk about on that, or? I can't hear you.
If there are questions, he'd be happy to answer them.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? Okay. Roll call, please.
Ms. Lassiter?
Yes.
Ms. Piper?
Yes.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Low at 1170. B112 correctional officer minus $5,841.15. C112 correctional officer plus $5,841.15, total request 0.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion from Jessica, second from Ryan. Any discussion on that? Roll call, please.
Ms. Lassiter?
Yes.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Ms. Piper?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Financial agenda, the first one, emergency medical service has been withdrawn. Prosecutor 137 seizure fund, 442 furniture, request $14,000, total $14,000.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion from Jessica, second from Ryan. You guys have any discussion on that?
I do.
Go.
So this is, yes.
Yeah.
Caller.
I have an invoice that was sent this morning at, well, if you want to look at that, did you get a copy of the, sent to you this
I
morning?
don't
It was
recall.
right before the
Hi,
meeting.
Rhonda.
All right, so it was sent right before the
They're
meeting.
gonna ask you some questions.
Yep. Rhonda, can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay, this is on the 14,000 out of the seizure fund,
Yes.
and we've just got some questions. Go ahead.
Sure. So, Rhonda, this is Jessica. I don't necessarily have a question. It's more of a comment with this. So on finance meeting, we were talking about expenditure, and the mention was that there was already an invoice for this particular purchase, and that kind of caught me off guard. It was my understanding that you would come before us to have that money appropriated before purchases would be made. So I just wanted to share my, I guess, personal disappointment that something was purchased. I would think that we'd have at least an estimate before we made those approvals.
Is that the way it's done? I guess is my question.
This is money that can only be spent by the prosecutor.
Right, and we understand that, but it was my understanding that when folks come before the council, it's to get approval to make those expenditures. And then when I heard the word invoice, that alluded that the expenditure had already occurred.
No, I think we only have to come to you for the appropriation, not for purposes of you telling me it's okay to purchase it. That's the way I understand it.
So then it's already been purchased, so if we don't appropriate this, you've already found the money to purchase it then, correct?
No, this is the money that's to be appropriated for the expenditure.
And so nothing's been purchased?
Correct. This is the invoice for the purchase of the items for the new building that we need. This is the way we've always done this. I don't know.
Well, this always comes before council for the approval before you purchase it. Is that where we're at on this, or have you already purchased it? I guess is the question. Is that correct? Okay.
The items have been purchased. Yes, the items have been purchased, and this is my invoice that needs to be paid.
Okay. I think what we're at,
Items have been purchased then.
I'm sorry?
So the items have been purchased then?
Correct.
I think what we're asking is that you get this approved prior to the purchase.
I'll have Eric look at the actual, I think it was a resolution maybe that was done, and to see, I mean, I only go by, I mean, we typically work off of however that resolution was written up. The way that we've only asked for money out of this appropriation one other time. And the way I understand it is that we have to come to you for the appropriation, not for permission to spend the money. So I'll have Eric clarify that. And if it's different, then yes, we would have to come to you beforehand, but that's not my understanding of that resolution.
Well,
So
we'll
I'll
have to,
have
we'll
Eric
have to
look
look
at
into
that.
it, but I would think that, I mean, if you could spend money out of that account without council's approval, then there wouldn't be any reason
The
for it to be
appropriation.
on the agenda as an appropriation. You understand what I'm saying?
Because the money goes into county general. That's why I have to have an appropriation. So that money sits in there for you guys to use until I need it.
Okay, I think as a courtesy, what we're asking is that you, before you spend the money in the future, that you let us know what you're doing and what it's gonna cost, because we may have some thought or some suggestions that we'd like to discuss with you on it prior to the purchase. And maybe you don't have to do that, but what we're asking is that you do in the future. And if,
But we can, yeah, I'll talk to Eric and see I'll let him know what's going on, and what your thoughts are.
okay,
And I think the only reason we bring that up is I get this, you guys can spend this however you see fit. But I mean, is it a downward spiral if we don't start necessarily bringing this up to council? We just cut $8 million out of our budget that honestly we didn't have. And now there's more expenditures that come up. I think Scott's right. Just from a standpoint of a courtesy, it would help us be a little bit more relaxed with that.
I don't see why I can't do that. And it's just probably, I mean, these things have just come up and happened, and so if I did it the wrong way, I apologize. I didn't intend to, for sure.
okay. Any more questions?
Well, since Ron's not here, I'm gonna make him proud. Back in the old day, you could not sign a contract or purchase anything if the money was not in place. So if you'll kind of take that as a benchmark, make sure the money is approved before you either sign a contract. Nancy is shaking her head yes. You remember those days, don't you? But you have to have the money in place before you can purchase, and you cannot sign a contract, only the county commissioners.
All right, well, I don't think it's unreasonable necessarily to have someone come before us and at least explain what's going on when it comes to that expenditure. So I think that's reasonable. So I'd appreciate that, and make sure everybody in the prosecutor's office knows as well. You guys are doing a pretty good job when it comes to putting people away here recently. So you've had some pretty big cases. I brought that up at the last meeting, but for me, I would just like to see it first. I feel like if
I
money.
don't think that's unreasonable at all. I think this just happened quickly, and I didn't really think about that aspect of it. I thought I was doing what I needed to do, from my end. So I didn't intend to catch people off guard. That wasn't my intent at all. I wasn't trying to, I just was doing what I thought I was supposed to do. So I apologize if I've upset you guys.
No worries at all. The one thing I will bring up to, all the department heads here as well, I mean, council can be a little edgy when it comes to money with what we just dealt with. So for us, it's not necessarily, as was said, unreasonable to ask those questions. I think we always got to remember, it's taxpayer dollars, you know, that we're dealing with up here, and I answer to the people in my district. So appreciate that, guys.
Any more questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Piper?
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter?
Yes.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Thank you, Rhonda.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Rhonda.
That's all right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Comprehensive Plan 118239's been withdrawn. EMA Small Aircraft Grant Fund 9209, 441 Equipment plus $4,883. Total request $4,883.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion from Jessica, second from Ryan. Any discussion
I'd
on
like
that?
to know a little bit more about it, to be
Okay.
honest with you.
I think it's
Morning,
interesting
Counselor.
what it's for.
I was gonna say, we asked that question in finance and got a really good explanation from,
Yeah, this is a grant that
Go ahead.
Corey's worked on through Ball Brothers Foundation. It's a rapid grant for a drone. The drone's gonna, we worked with the Sheriff's Department on trying to get, I think Corey can probably answer that better, the operator's license to fly the drone at night and whatnot, but it's also gonna help EMA. We're gonna slowly move into a search and rescue team with the drone. It's gonna have a FLIR, so a forward-looking infrared camera, and help the Sheriff's Department with their crash and scenes and investigations and whatnot. So it's just a step forward to making our department better and more available to the other departments like the Sheriff's Department or outer line, small town police departments, fire departments, whatnot.
Corey did a great job of outlining all the
Yeah.
things this drone
There-
can
there's
do.
a- I could,
Your
I
list
could
was
probably
like
stand
this
up here,
long.
and I'm sure he can stand up here for 15 more minutes, but, I mean, he can go really in depth if you want for all the stuff that we can do with it, but just a Reader's Digest version of what some of the things are. Those are our key points first, and then we'll expand from there with this.
I was gonna say, if you
project.
don't mind coming up and just running through those major items that you went through in Finance Committee. I mean, it was pretty impressive what all.
So
you
it
helped us with.
started out, we've got a bunch of pilots. We've actually got some guys that fly drones for insurance for the farmers for crops, and Sheriff's Department uses drones for crash reconstruction. Well, I've got some pilots on our agency, so we were kind of flying for them. Well, then we decided, we looked into other emergency management agencies on what they had drones and what they used it for. So some of the stuff that they used theirs for was damage assessment. So by using a drone, you're taking the responders away from going and potentially getting into hazards like down power lines, stuff like that, collapses. So damage assessment would be a good thing to benefit us for. Also, with the EMS, we run the hazmat team. Also with the drone, you're taking people out from sending them into contaminated areas. Now you send a drone in, you take pictures, you view what you got, you've got thermal imaging for that so you can read heat sensors, you kind of make an assessment, and then you send guys in so that way they're not blind. You know, a train derailment. We've got a lot of railways that run through Delaware County. If we had a train derail, instead of sending responders in to assess that, now we send a drone in that cuts that time nearly in half. We've got search and rescue, so a hunter falls out of his tree stand, somebody with special needs runs out into a cornfield. Instead of wasting all the manpower in the county, now we can send a drone up to locate them that way. We can use it for photos for emergency action plans, where if we want to set up, some sort of mass casualty incident or a natural disaster, we can use our drones to fly up to kind of take pictures of where we want to place an incident command post or a staging area or so on. Fire departments can use it for their investigations. At the beginning of the year, they had a fire down at the Andersons in Oakville. They needed a drone to try to locate fire on the top of one of their terminals. It took almost 2 hours to get one down there because we had to call Hamilton County. Now we have one stationed here with pilots. And then also we can use it for assistance with the sheriff's office for their crash team reconstruction. And among other things, there's all kinds of other things. If you think of it, if other agencies need it for anything, they can call us. We've got pilots. We're working on getting more pilots. Our plan with it is to be able to have it available within 15 minutes. Right now it's about 25 minutes if you need it. With this grant, we purchased a drone We've purchased a kit that has extra propellers and extra equipment in it with 2 spare batteries, and it comes with a battery and an iPad. It'll have a microphone and a speaker, so if we were doing search and rescue, we could talk through our, remote control to the drone. It's got a night vision, photo, video capabilities, thermal imaging, and it's also got a spotlight on it. Any questions?
I do have a question. You see on social media some of these things that are being flown out there and how they just crash and burn at times too. Is there an insurance policy that goes along with this in case something happens to this? Because
We're working on that. We're working on that next.
okay, so it'll be insured, it'll be taken care of. to
Yeah,
a
and
point
it's
where
not
something
like we're everybody who will be flying this is FAA has a pilot license through the FAA. So nobody can just pick up the control and start flying it. They got to be trained.
Okay.
And it's got to be insured.
Perfect.
And again, this is being paid out of a Ball Brothers Rapid Grant.
Yep.
Yep, okay. Any other questions? Thank you.
Corey?
Well, hang on.
This is
Sorry.
on a personal note. Wasn't Sherry your grandmother?
Yes.
Well, I certainly give you my sympathies on her death because she was an exceptional lady.
I appreciate it.
Harry Wright from Albany, I think. Probably you'll remember Harry Wright,
Mm-hmm.
her husband,
Yep.
who just died in,
And in July. I appreciate you.
that was a loss to Albany.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Jane. Roll call, please.
Ms. Lassiter?
Yes.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Ms. Piper?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
GIS map fund 1150-254 has been withdrawn. Public defender supplemental, Department 247, office furniture and equipment, plus $50,000, total request $50,000.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion from Ryan, second from Jessica. You guys are switching up on me now.
I got distracted. Sorry.
All right, no, that's all right. There was a lot of discussion on this in finance, and if you guys want to kind of present to us what you're looking at here.
Sure. We are asking to spend our supplemental funds to order computers. We're going to get Surface Pros for every attorney and staff member. We want all of our attorneys to be armed with the technology to be able to do the presentations, take less files to court, be able to look up their case information online, access the court documents, the pleadings and everything, instead of having to thumb through files. And we've needed to do this for a long time, and we've been attempting to do it for about 2 years now. We had a sub-technology committee, and all but one of our attorneys have left us that were on the sub-technology committee. Ted Baker has headed that up, who is one of our board members. And so he's been working closely with us as far as what would be good for all of our attorneys with the technology and ease of use. And so I received 3 different quotes from 2 that Jim Fluke provided through the Microsoft Store and Best Buy Business. And then Ted Baker received one from Leaf Technology. Leap managed it, it's called. And received the cheapest quote, which is one that Jim Fluke had received. And we are right at that $50,000 mark that we requested to spend out of our supplemental fund. We do hope to be reimbursed from the CARES Act for these, because we have all had to work from home. Staff, attorneys, obviously attend court from home or away from the Justice Center. And if for some reason we are turned down by the CARES Act, 40% of that would be replaced into our supplemental fund by the State Public Defender Commission.
So if I can add.
Yeah.
So right now, this is where it's at. I started practicing law in 1982, and when I started, I had a paper file like this. This is an actual public defender file. We're now in 2020, moving to 2021. This is a current file. I still have this. So when I go into the courtroom, because I'm chief, but I have a case assignment too, the judge has a laptop, the sheriff has a laptop, probation has a laptop, prosecutor has a laptop, and I have a paper file. Any kind of a hearing. If I'm in a jury trial, I was just looking, these, the prosecutor has the technology so they can display a PowerPoint. The prosecutor has the technology so they can display exhibits that they want to highlight. What the public defenders have is a poster board and a magic marker, or a chalkboard and a piece of chalk. We're trying to make for more effective advocacy. It's a directive that we have from our advisory board. It started with the judges. They noted the inadequacy or the disparity in resource, and so we're trying to change that. And so the idea is that every public defender would have a laptop, and we want to have the same resources so that we can effectively, or more effectively, represent indigent people on a par with the prosecutor's office.
One of the questions I asked during finance meeting was just the confirmation that the operating system will work with all the software that is required for you to do your job, and that was confirmed. So that's all been worked through, which is
Correct.
always
And
important.
you also made the comment that you personally like your Surface Pro, but you thought it would be great because we had talked about letting the attorneys kind of choose whether they wanted Apple, whether, and you even made the comment, well, by going this way, when we troubleshoot, it'll be easier. I mean, they can call me and we can all be on the same thing, walking through something together.
Right.
And that will make it nicer. I can go run down to a courtroom if they're having an issue. And just if we have all the same material sitting in front of us, it'll be easier to troubleshoot.
Just efficiencies there.
Right.
And this is county-owned property too.
Yes.
This is county-owned property, and we will be able to get on the Wi-Fi at the new building, which we understand is very, very good. It will go a long way towards leveling the playing field.
So these are Surface Pros. Do you guys, I mean, how do you do work now? Do you guys not have laptops at all, or?
They're personal laptops,
No.
but they're personal laptops, well, and files.
What about in your offices?
We just have desktops, so when we worked from home, we've used whatever desktop we could get a hold of at our house, if we had one.
She used her own money and bought a laptop.
Yeah. And it wasn't very good when it was a panic buy when we found out we were closing. But the,
So, if I'm hearing it correctly, though, they'll have a desktop as well as a laptop.
the staff members, there are 4 staff members in our office. We will have a desktop plus a laptop. The attorneys have never been given any technology from our office, any software, any hardware provided by the public defender's office. So if they come in, if they bring their laptop in to the courtroom, their personal laptop in, they have to use the guest Wi-Fi because their computer has not been set up by the county and isn't owned by the county. So, and the guest Wi-Fi, is not very user-friendly especially if you're trying to present something at a trial, because you're constantly getting kicked off and have to, run in, log back in and kind of look like a doofus, to be honest. But these will be county-owned, will be able to be set up to use any Wi-Fi that is not accessible to the public, will be, in sync with all of the options that the prosecutor's office are offered.
Gotcha. So the public defenders have access to a computer to do their case log and things like that.
No, they don't.
So they have So how?
known.
The only
Only
answer
at
to
their
that
offices.
is if they buy one themselves.
Or their
Right, but I'm
private
saying,
office.
so they're not, I mean, I'm a funeral director, I'm not an attorney. I mean, are you guys not having to type up as to what happens within these cases? I mean, what are they doing to file things? I know,
They're doing the file things. We have a system that is provided by the state called the Public Defender Information System. So every court that is referred to our office, our staff, one of our staff members assigns that to an attorney. And if whatever information we input into that, the attorney can access remotely, like court dates and things like that. It's not very intricate, but that's the only way they can access their case information. But as far as discovery, what the prosecutor's office have provided to our attorneys, the case notes and the supplemental reports, they go right into that file, and that's how the attorneys access them.
So it's more so if we're in the courtroom.
Right.
We want to move towards paperless for the same reasons that the prosecutor did that. We want to have the same resources that the prosecutor has.
When I was hired in October of 17, Danielle Struble, our board chair, said, I want to be paperless in 6 months. And I thought, well, that's a pretty big undertaking because we're lucky to have a lot of experienced attorneys working in our office. But I mean, here it is. I've been there since 17 and we're still trying to move toward paperless. Not even be paperless, move toward paperless.
Well, can you, I think I know how this works here, what you guys do. Basically, you guys are working out of the hallways here. Is that
When you
an
say,
accurate statement for the public defenders? You guys are working out of the hallways to do your,
we don't have offices.
you don't have offices here, but out at the new facility, there are
There's
individual,
increased space, yes.
there are individual
Still will
offices.
not have offices.
Okay.
It'd be like hoteling. If they're available, they can
But
hop in there
we're not
and use
complaining
them.
because it's far better than what we
Sure.
have.
We're
Yes,
going
I
to
guess-
have what we've been calling landing spaces.
Yeah.
Where a person will be able to put their laptop in
what I'm
an
looking
empty
for, yeah.
office. Yeah, and they'll be able to land there and work instead of coming back downtown to their personal office. If they have a hearing at 9 and then have a hearing at 11, they can land in one of our spaces and open up cases and do whatever they would like to do for that 2 hours so they don't have to come back downtown and back out.
The other question I asked in Finance Committee meeting on this was, how are you going to, I guess, for a lack of a better word, force the public defenders to use these? And if you order 25 of them, how can you, I guess, assure me that 6 or 8 of them aren't going to be sitting off at the shelf back at the office?
It's not going to be a suggestion, it's going to be a directive. And a lot of many of our attorneys are seasoned, but a lot of it is just getting used to it and some orientation. We've got that set up too. So I guess my response would be it's just because you're not used to it. So if this old dog can learn, the rest of the old dogs can learn too. It's not that hard.
And I will comment, the attorneys who have fought harder about actually wanting to come into court rather than appear virtually have been from the younger people. Our more senior attorneys, they caught on to Zoom like that. And so, I mean, I literally told every one of them that I was proud of them. And I think if they have a halfway user-friendly, they're all pretty savvy with computers, to be honest, for their age. I mean, we have one that's darn near 78, Ray. He is so computer savvy. You give him an email, he's responding within 5 minutes. It's just, so I've been really impressed with how people have adapted to the changes that have been required throughout this time.
I will say this. I mean, I don't necessarily have issues with this now that you've explained it. Initially, I did. What I will say, and maybe this is a question for Jim Fluke, But I don't know why why do we really even have desktops if we're in this COVID area and we've got to be mobile? I guess my thought is have we not moved into the idea of being able to work from home? Is that not being thought about? I mean, we're 8 months in, so why do we have desktops if you can't, at work for me, I have a docking station, okay, with 2 monitors, and I just plug my laptop into that, of which I can go anywhere with my laptop. I have to work from my vehicle a lot, okay? Why is that foreign here? I guess would be my question. So I don't know. Maybe that's a question for Jim Fluke. I'll have that opportunity to ask him. But
And we are trying to, I assume that once our staff are giving the identical, once we all get our Surface Pros, I assume that we're going to do that in our office.
I would hope so. Is kind of where I'm going with
Yeah, and
Done
they,
that.
I mean, our,
because there's no reason for any employee to have 2 computers anyway, a desktop and a laptop. There's
Right.
just more overhead for the county.
right. And I work from home on my cheap laptop that I bought in March. I worked from home, and due to some other issues, I've continued to have to work from home a little bit. But yeah, it's not, it doesn't make sense. But I mean, obviously, the whole county can't go to laptops, and for
But the
financial
process
reasons.
has to be looked at.
But that's why we're wanting to spend our supplemental fund and at least get our public defender's office up to a little bit in our technology.
And we do get the 40% reimbursement, and we're trying to get CARES Act money so it doesn't actually cost us anything.
Sure.
That's what we've been talking to people about that, how that gets done, because we think it would be a very appropriate use of that CARES Act money.
Get that done.
We're
Please
gonna try.
I think, Ryan, back to your original question, I mean, I think I can answer some of that. I mean, traditionally what happened before March or whenever this thing started is people in most of the offices here come in, sit down at their desks and work off of their computer. Things have obviously changed since March or whenever this thing started this year. It's forced us, and we've all adapted to technology and different ways to meet and things like that. And you know, I've pushed to get us back to this meeting where we're all in the same room. But I mean, technically, I don't think we absolutely have to do that. But I think it provides, you know, from what we're doing here, a sense of normalcy in a time that's not normal. So, but I see things going forward. I mean, this is probably the way that you guys are going to operate now is gonna change some when you move to the new facility. I mean, there is a landing spot there for you, and people aren't going to be back and forth walking across the street like they are. And I am still worried about, you know, ordering 25 of these that they sit on the shelf. So I'm going to ask that you make sure that doesn't happen. And I don't know whether you know how you go about that, whether you have to implement some rules in the department that might force the use of that a little bit more. I don't know. I mean, that's up to you guys. But any other questions from council? Okay. Roll call, please.
Ms. Piper?
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter?
Yes.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
We really appreciate
And
you.
thank you for your support.
Yep.
Supreme Court Grant 8108, 245 client incentives, plus $2,778, 396 drug screens, plus $14,086, 393 travel and training, plus $3,136, total request $20,000.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion from Jessica, second from Ryan. Do you guys want to say anything about that? You
This
guys-
is just our annual state Supreme Court grant that pays for incentives and drug screens for our problem-solving courts.
Okay. Any questions from council? Roll call, please.
Ms. Lassiter?
Yes.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Ms. Piper?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Sales Disclosure Fund 1131, 441 copier, plus $1,344. Total request $1,344.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion from Jessica, second from Ryan. This is the other portion of the
Yeah.
copier, is that correct?
Yep.
Any questions from council? Roll call, please.
Ms. Piper?
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter?
Yes.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
COVID-19 GIS Fund 9207, 221 gasoline plus $400, 311 contractual services plus $3,600, total request $4,000.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion from Jessica, second from Ryan. You want to say something, Kyle?
Sure. This is a continuation. This is the second 6 weeks of our weekly COVID communication grant that the Ball Brothers have initially started, and then we're acting as a pass-through to fund that weekly newsletter and press releases and everything like that. So,
Any questions from council? Roll call, please.
Ms. Lassiter?
Yes.
Ms. Piper?
Yes.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes. We didn't have anything, Steve, last minute,
No.
did we? Okay, all right. We are ready for the motion.
All right, motion to approve financial transfers and to amend salary ordinance with like reductions and to amend hiring freeze ordinance 2020-015.
Second.
Motion from Jessica, second from Ryan. Any discussion from council? Roll call, please.
Ms. Piper?
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter?
Yes.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes. On, let's see, on committee reports, I have something on there. I don't know that we need to act on that today since we've got a meeting coming up earlier in December. But there is an appointment to the 911 board that has been set up by agreement there that if you guys want to appoint today, we can, but if you want some time to think about it, I at this point in time, have not heard of a meeting that is scheduled. If a meeting comes up between now and before next month's meeting, I'll attend on our behalf, but hang on a minute.
Scott, it's gonna be after the first year before we actually start meeting.
Okay, so we can, I can put this on the agenda in December, if you guys want some time to think about who we want to appoint there.
And does that have to be politically balanced, or is that bipartisan?
I don't
or-
believe so. I think the contract, you helped me out on that. I think the contract calls for specifically a county council member as an appointment, so I think when we originally talked about that at the meeting we had over at the city, we had indicated that it would be the president of council, but I don't believe that that's the case. We can take a look at that, but I don't.
Look at it.
I think-
can't recall.
I think it's at a pound. So we'll have Bill take a look at that and let me know, and then I'll put that on the agenda for December. If you guys are okay with that?
That's fine.
Okay. Thank you for letting me know on that. Like I say, I hadn't heard anything about trying to get a meeting scheduled at this point, so we've got time to wait till December on that one. We have an ordinance.
Gotta.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Paul Singleton, 911 Director. So you don't get caught by surprise again. We went live with our 911 phone system last week. Everything went smooth. We're still tweaking a little bit. So at some point, that's going to be invoiced. As a reminder, that's a reimbursable grant. I've got Donna working with me to try to figure out how much money I can pay out of my state 911 monies. But just as a reminder, there was an obligation that was agreed to by the commissioners that the county will pay that other chunk of whatever I can't pay. And then the money is in the hands of the state, so that reimbursement will be fairly quick. So
When do you anticipate that's coming in?
I have no idea at this point. We're not
Okay.
anywhere near ready to sign off on it yet. So,
Okay, all right.
and I would guess that there won't be any kind of billing until we're completely signed off on the project. So just giving you a heads up again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
Okay, we have an ordinance. Ordinance 2020-022. Is that right, Denise? Yep. Okay, all right. An ordinance updating management of the GIS electronic map fund, approving updated fees and services provided through geographic information systems, and providing creation of an open data initiative to better service citizens and foster growth through more readily accessible geospatial data. Want to break that down for us?
Yeah, I think I can do that.
Let me get a motion to introduce at this point. It's an ordinance, so we'll introduce it today. And Kyle's told me that we can approve that in the December meeting, and time-wise, that'll be just fine, so.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Jessica and a second from Ryan to introduce on that. Any discussion from Kyle? Well, let's hear from Kyle on that first. You want to go through the
Sure.
ordinance with us real quick?
Okay, so this ordinance sets up our electronic map fund. It was initially created in 1999, so things have changed significantly in the last 20 years. Right now, the current ordinance sets GIS data purchase price. So if an outside company or anybody wanted to come and get a copy of our data, they'd have to buy it. Initially, that was the case. GIS was in its infancy. It was expensive to initially generate all this mapping data. So at the time, we were looking to recuperate those costs. So now the sale of GIS government data is gone by the wayside. Everything's gone more to an open data, make the data available. It's more beneficial for that data to be out and available to companies, research at universities and schools than it is to try to sell it. We've only sold really a countywide data set once in the time I've been here, actually since the beginning of this. So it really hasn't panned out as a big money maker whatsoever. So GIS data purchase and then the cost of printed maps. So the Indiana code allows us to charge a little bit more than your typical paper and ink charges for copies, since we have to prepare the maps and there's time involved in that. So with the issues with the current ordinance is it's old, it's data and how GIS works has changed. There was no web-based map applications in 1999. We definitely didn't have any. So all that stuff has really kind of ballooned over the last 10 years or so. In addition, there's a statewide data sharing initiative that is required by state law that the county has to submit our parcel, address, street, center lines, corporate boundaries to the state, which then they combine with all the other counties and make it available through the Indiana map for anybody to download for free. So that was already, our data's already out there, so there's no reason for us to sell it. We might as well make it available as well. The other kind of benefit of having open data is it takes away some of the burden on my office, because we're not always having to fulfill these data requests or map requests. The university, a lot of students use GIS data. They do local projects. They're like, we need local data, and so it takes time for me to get that over to them. Now they can just go download it, so don't even have to talk to me. There's a lot of benefits of open data. It's been proven over and over. The state of Indiana has done a lot of research about making the data freely available is way more beneficial to trying to make money from it. The third new part of this ordinance relates to making map applications, data hosting for other government agencies outside of the county. They're going to need to have to help cover some of those costs, because there is cost for making data available over the internet. I have to store it at part of my subscription service that I have to cover those costs. If they're outside of county general, they need to help cover those costs as well. So as you know, our budget has been decreasing and decreasing every year, so I'm trying to figure out other ways to bring in some revenue. The GIS Electronic Map Fund's non-reverting fund. It's shared between Martin Moody and the Plan Commission in my office. We use it to make large purchases like computers and servers, and for subscriptions, we pull a lot of money out of there to pay for a lot of stuff. Aerial photography comes out of there. So that's pretty much it. The fees for hosting the data and map applications, it's tiered. It's based upon how many maps you want to make available, how much data, if you have users that need to access it, like if they have data that's not public, like infrastructure or anything like that, there's an additional cost. So it's kind of an a la carte menu that they can choose from. Anybody have any questions?
You guys have any questions on that? Is there already a fund set up for the collection of this?
Yeah, that's the electronic map fund that was set up
Okay,
in
all right.
'99. So this updates that,
And I
that
see
fund.
in here, this will eliminate the 99,
correct.
9906.
Yep.
On that. Bill, you've taken a look at this already, I think, and I think you made some changes initially and
We've been corresponding.
back and forth, so. Unless you see anything in there that needs to be looked at or changed, or have any questions, then I'll ask for a roll call to introduce 2020-022. You all good for now? Okay. You got a month to think about, well, you don't have a month to think
Couple
about it.
weeks.
You got till next meeting. Roll call, please.
Ms. Piper?
Yes.
Ms. Lassiter?
Yes.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Kyle.
All right. See, we have no resolutions. We do have a 2021 meeting schedule to approve. That was sent out to you guys. Any questions on that? If not, I need a motion for approval.
So moved?
Second.
Motion from Jessica, second from Brian. Any discussion on that? Roll call, please.
Ms. Lassiter?
Yes.
Ms. Piper?
Yes.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes. I think that's everything we've got. You guys got anything you'd like to discuss before we?
I've got something. I'm going to chime in here a little bit.
Okay.
Just trying to think how to put this the right way. A week ago today, our Indiana State Legislature was called back in session. And as you guys all know, there's been some spirited conversation, myself and a few others on this council included, very, very spirited conversation with some of our state state legislators as to some of the problems we've been dealing with when you shut a state down. Day one, when they went in, the first thing that they did was to exempt themselves from having to wear masks. Now, I look around this room, and I see all of us doing what we're supposed to do, okay? I find it disgusting, quite honestly, that was the first thing that they did, that they felt that was priority. There was nothing for business, that wasn't talked about, nothing for municipalities, nothing for the taxpayer, I guess. They did that for themselves. And it's absolutely infuriating because, like I said, there's been an immense amount of conversation that I've had, that I know other people have bared witness to me having on this council, but also other people that have talked to these state legislators as well. And I want them to know, and I just wanted to go on public record as I look into the camera, we see you. It's absolutely irritating after cutting $8 million out of a budget, which we really didn't have initially. That was the priority. And I don't know if it was a protest or what. I'm not here to argue masks or whatever else, but I am here to argue the idea of what their priority was. I was told numerous times when I had conversations with these state legislators that we're not in session. We can't call a special session. There's nothing I can do. We're in session. I often wonder, just with day one and seeing that, I don't even know what it is these people do. And that's where I stand with that. I'm extremely irritated with it. It just goes to show everybody in this room, your elected offices, people here at the local level, it shows me how important these positions are and why they're here. Because I'm not seeing anything from the state. We talk about all this CARES Act or reimbursement from the state and whatever else. I'm not holding a candle to anything with them right now. It's disgusting. It's garbage in my eyes. And I truly believe it's more of a do as I say, not as I do. We're all dealing with this and doing what we have to do. Everybody in here's got a mask on. We've been working for the past 8 months, and they haven't. And that's the first thing that they did. So I think it's disgusting. hopefully after this, maybe a state legislator will reach out to me and we can have some more spirited conversation. But I think it needed to be on record that that was your number one priority, and it wasn't necessarily the taxpayer. That's how I feel, and that's how I see it. So I just wanted to comment on that because I don't know what they do. So, thank you.
Anybody else?
I know last month we did like some kudos to departments. I've got one this month I'd like to do. And the kudo goes to the clerk's office and to the recorder's office. And Melanie, will you explain the marriage license situation?
Oh, the special circumstance.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not sure what we're talking about here. There's a young lady that I know her family very well, and they reached out to me.
I think we all know her family.
Oh, okay. Well, Tony Evans, his daughter, he works with IMI, and they reached out to me. They decided in very short time to get married, she and her fiance, and they live out in Colorado. They were flying in on a Friday, getting married on a Saturday, leaving on Monday for their honeymoon. And they have to get a marriage license from the clerk of the county where they're going to get married. And they have to appear in person in order to do that. And their flight was supposed to get in at 2 o'clock in the afternoon in Indianapolis. And so they were going to be cutting it really short. So I went over and talked to the clerk's office, and bless their heart, Rick and Regina McIntyre worked with them and worked with me. Their flight got delayed. We came in, I met them here at the county building, I think it was about 7:30 on Friday night. And Rick was still here working on election stuff. He said he had plenty to do, so he stayed. And so we were able to get them taken care of, get them their marriage license. But between Rick and I working together to help them, we met them here about 7:30 on a Friday night. So anyway, but I thought it was very, very kind of Rick to make those accommodations and to have his staff get all that paperwork ready. So I didn't really do anything. I just came and got him in the building. But Rick really stepped up and went above and beyond to make that happen for them. So thank you.
Thank
I
you.
just thought that was a nice story.
It's nice to hear those heartwarming stories, right? Well, I guess I'll go ahead on the kudos train. So also kudos to the clerk. Everything I've heard sounds like the election really went really smoothly, and the new electronic poll books worked really well. I heard a lot of just not too many negative things about this election. It was a busy one, so that was really that's some positive news too. And then I have it's like my platform here, blood donation. Vercity's been bugging me again, so if you have O blood types, they would really appreciate you signing up to donate blood. The blood bus is over by Outback Steakhouse at the Muncie Mall on Mondays and Saturdays. One of the things they're doing now is performing COVID antibody testing for free if you donate your blood. And then if you have the app, it'll just show you your results through the app, which is great. I do want to make a note when it goes back to dual computers to Ryan that I know you sit on the committee, IT board, so I would really appreciate if you'd look into that a little further. I think that's a little redundant and could be some savings to the county to have one computer per employee. And then finally, the last thing I have is we have no comments on Facebook and we have no comments on our email address. So there we have it.
Okay.
Oh, and have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Smile and laugh a little bit.
Well, and Jess, I was going to put a shout out to the clerk's office as well and everybody that helped with the election. Congratulations to all that ran and their families
Right.
on that. And we will be welcoming a new councilman to the county council in January, and Ryan's out in the office. Ryan Webb's in the office. I know he's meeting with people and make sure you get to know Ryan and let him know what he's in for January. So anybody else, auditor's office, any department heads have any comments? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, got a motion from Ryan, second from Jessica. Roll call, please.
Ms. Lassiter?
Yes.
Ms. Piper?
Yes.
Mr. Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes, thank you.
Can you bring me that step down?